In the early hours of a tense spring morning, while the world's attention was fixed on escalating regional conflicts, the first shots of a new kind of war were fired. Not with armies crossing borders, but with surgical precision against the invisible architecture of our modern world. While physical data centers in the Middle East smolder under the impact of drone attacks, a conflict fought in the shadows has just burst into the open. This isn't just about regional instability. It's the dawn of a new era of geopolitical struggle where the battlefield is the cloud and the prize is digital sovereignty. The very infrastructure that powers global commerce, communication, and government has become a primary target. Yet, as the digital foundations of one region are shaken, a very different kind of counter-offensive is being launched thousands of miles away in Europe. In a move that signals a seismic shift in global strategy, Amazon has just made a staggering $33.7 billion bet on the continent's digital future. This isn't merely a business expansion. It's a calculated geopolitical maneuver, a declaration that in this new conflict, economic might and technological infrastructure are the ultimate weapons. The investment is a fortress being built in plain sight, a direct response to the vulnerabilities exposed by the attacks in the Gulf. This is the stark reality of the 2026 sovereign AI war, a conflict fought not just with munitions, but with massive capital investments and strategic infrastructure placements. It's a war defined by a new doctrine: data residency, computational independence, and the absolute control of national AI capabilities. The core principle is simple yet revolutionary. A nation that does not control its own data and the AI that processes it cannot be truly sovereign. This war is about ensuring that a country's digital destiny is decided within its own borders, immune to foreign coercion or attack. The crisis began on March 2, 2026. Under the cover of escalating regional conflict, a series of precisely targeted drone strikes hit critical AWS infrastructure. These were not random acts of terror. The attackers demonstrated sophisticated intelligence, targeting facilities that formed the backbone of the region's digital economy. The timing was impeccable, exploiting the fog of a conventional conflict to launch an unconventional assault with devastating consequences. Two major data centers in the United Arab Emirates and a key AWS facility in Bahrain were physically damaged. These weren't just warehouses of servers, they were fortresses of data, designed with multiple layers of redundancy and security. The fact that they could be so effectively breached sent a shockwave through the global tech community. The attackers had bypassed perimeter defenses and delivered payloads directly onto critical sections of the buildings, targeting power substations and cooling plants with chilling accuracy. The strikes immediately took the facilities offline, triggering widespread cloud outages that cascaded across the region. Key services like the EC2 compute backbone, the S3 storage layer, and the DynamoDB database service were severely impaired. For millions of users and thousands of businesses, it was as if a fundamental utility like water or electricity had been shut off. The intricate web of dependencies meant that the failure of these core services created a domino effect, bringing a significant portion of the region's digital activity to a grinding halt. Within hours, Iranian state media claimed the attacks were retaliation for alleged US-Israeli covert operations in the region. Their broadcasts specifically alleged the AWS Bahrain facility supported US military and intelligence operations, framing the data center not as a piece of commercial infrastructure, but as a legitimate military target. This narrative was a deliberate act of information warfare designed to justify the attack and blur the lines between civilian and military infrastructure in the digital age. The physical consequences inside the data centers were catastrophic. Beyond the initial structural damage from the drone impacts, the ensuing fires triggered automated fire suppression systems. While designed to save the building, the immense water damage effectively destroyed racks of high-end servers, storage arrays, and networking gear. The combination of fire, power disruptions, and water created a multi-billion-dollar write-off and a recovery timeline measured not in days, but in months or even years. The fallout for the regional economy was immediate and severe. Consumer-facing applications like the ride-hailing service Careem and food delivery giant Talabat went offline, stranding customers and drivers. Critical banking services from major institutions like ADCB and Emirates NBD reported major disruptions, preventing transactions and access to accounts. The attack demonstrated just how deeply the cloud was integrated into daily life, and how vulnerable society had become to its failure. The knock-on effects hammered the digital supply chain. Regional SaaS providers like Snowflake, which themselves provide critical data warehousing services to other businesses, attributed their own disruptions directly to the AWS outage. This second-order failure snapped the digital supply chain, creating a cascade of outages that affected businesses who weren't even direct AWS customers. It was a brutal lesson in systemic risk, proving that in the cloud era, your digital fate is inextricably linked to the security of your provider. The age of assuming infrastructure is infallible was over. As the shockwaves from the Red Sea drone strikes rippled through global markets, creating a climate of uncertainty and fear, a starkly different scene was unfolding in Barcelona. At the Mobile World Congress 2026, the atmosphere wasn't one of crisis, but of calculated ambition. Here, amidst the buzz of next-generation connectivity and artificial intelligence, the world's tech and political elite gathered, not just to showcase innovation, but to redraw the map of digital infrastructure. The air was thick with anticipation, but few could have predicted the sheer scale of the announcement that was about to be made, an announcement that would signal a tectonic shift in the global technology landscape. It was a moment poised to transform a continental-scale vulnerability into a declaration of digital sovereignty. On the main stage, flanked by Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, Amazon's Senior Vice President and General Counsel, David Zapolsky, stepped forward. This wasn't just a corporate briefing. It was a carefully orchestrated act of economic statecraft. Before a packed auditorium of industry leaders and international press, Zapolsky announced a figure that momentarily silenced the room: a historic €33.7 billion investment into Spain. The number itself was staggering, representing one of the largest single foreign investments in the country's history. The presence of the Prime Minister underscored the gravity of the commitment, framing it not merely as a business decision for Amazon, but as a strategic partnership with the Spanish state and, by extension, with Europe itself. To be clear, this wasn't an entirely new initiative. It was a massive strategic amplification. The foundation had been laid in 2024 with an initial pledge of €15.7 billion. But this new announcement added a colossal €18 billion on top of that, more than doubling the original commitment. This dramatic escalation was a direct response to the new geopolitical reality. It signaled that Amazon's strategy had fundamentally evolved from simply expanding its cloud footprint to actively fortifying it against emerging threats. The message was unambiguous. The era of relying on long, fragile, and now proven vulnerable global supply chains was over. In the face of unprecedented physical attacks on the arteries of global trade, Amazon was not retreating. It was executing a decisive pivot. Instead of pulling back or diversifying risk across more distant geographies, the company was doubling down on Europe. This move represented a conscious decoupling of its critical infrastructure from unstable transit routes. It was a multi-billion euro vote of confidence in the stability and security of the European Union, a strategic decision to concentrate its capital and technological prowess within a politically aligned and defensible territory. The economic implications for Spain are transformative, with the plan deeply integrated and focused on the inland region of Aragon. This choice is no accident. Aragon offers a unique confluence of strategic advantages: abundant renewable energy potential from wind and solar, ample land for development, and a key logistical position in the Iberian Peninsula. The investment is designed to create a self-sustaining ecosystem, turning the region into one of the most significant technology hubs in all of Europe. A cornerstone of this strategy is the construction of a state-of-the-art server manufacturing plant. This is a radical departure from the standard hyperscale model of sourcing hardware from East Asia. By establishing this facility, Amazon is onshoring a critical part of its supply chain, bringing the entire hardware lifecycle, from assembly and testing to deployment, under its direct control within Europe's borders. This vertical integration is a direct hedge against maritime choke points and geopolitical friction. Crucially, the project goes beyond standard cloud servers. It includes a dedicated, highly specialized facility for manufacturing and repairing the most advanced AI and machine learning hardware. This addresses the most valuable and sensitive part of the modern technology stack, the powerful GPU-accelerated servers that are the engines of the AI revolution. Having the capability to build and maintain these complex systems in-house on European soil is a quantum leap in technological autonomy. This is what sovereign resilience looks like in practice. It's not just about data localization, it's about localizing the physical means of computation. By creating a closed-loop system for its most critical hardware, Amazon is building resilience from the ground up. This is a direct, tangible, and incredibly expensive answer to the vulnerabilities so brutally exposed by the drone strikes. It's a new blueprint for a digital fortress in Europe, with its foundations laid firmly in the heart of Spain. While Amazon was making its massive capital pledge in Spain, another significant European AI strategy was unveiled. Norwegian telecommunications giant Telenor, in partnership with Red Hat, announced Norway's first sovereign AI factory. This wasn't just another data center, it was a blueprint for how European nations could build cutting-edge AI capabilities on their own terms, a powerful countercurrent to the hyperscale model. At its core, the venture guarantees that all AI data processing, from model training to inference, occurs entirely within Norway's geographical and legal jurisdiction. This is a direct response to stringent EU rules like GDPR and the upcoming AI Act. For public sector agencies and critical industries, this is non-negotiable. It ensures sensitive citizen and state data is never subject to the laws of other nations, such as the US Cloud Act, building a trusted environment for innovation. Crucially, choosing sovereignty does not mean accepting second-rate technology. The AI factory is being equipped with high-performance NVIDIA H100 GPUs, with a confirmed upgrade path to NVIDIA's next-generation Blackwell architecture. This commitment to state-of-the-art hardware is strategic, proving that homegrown clouds can compete on performance. By providing access to elite computing power, the Sovereign AI Factory aims to attract top-tier AI talent, proving world-class innovation can flourish within a framework of national control. The project also leverages one of Norway's key advantages: abundant, clean energy. The AI factory will run entirely on renewable power, primarily hydropower. In an era where the energy consumption of AI is a growing concern, access to stable, low-cost, and green power is a formidable competitive edge. This fusion of digital sovereignty and green energy creates a uniquely compelling proposition for enterprises and public bodies. Taken together, the announcements from Amazon and Telenor reveal Europe's two-pronged strategy for the AI era. On one hand, the continent is encouraging the onshoring of hyperscale power, exemplified by Amazon's investment in Spain. This is a pragmatic move to secure immense raw compute capacity. On the other hand, Europe is cultivating homegrown, sovereign alternatives like the Norwegian AI factory. These initiatives build long-term resilience and provide a trusted option for the most sensitive workloads. It's not a question of choosing one over the other, it's about pursuing both in parallel. This dynamic unfolds amid heightened regulatory scrutiny from Brussels. The European Commission's Digital Markets Act is designed to ensure fair competition, preventing large gatekeeper platforms from abusing their dominance. Amazon's move to establish a European sovereign cloud is, in part, a strategic maneuver to placate these regulators. However, the existence of credible, homegrown alternatives like Telenor's AI factory gives the Commission more leverage, proving a viable market exists outside the hyperscale ecosystem and ensuring European customers have a real choice. These events mark a clear inflection point. The abstract cloud is rapidly materializing, its value now linked to steel, concrete, and sovereign borders. We are witnessing the transition from the cloud era to the sovereignty era. The future of digital infrastructure will be built with a dual focus: elegant lines of code and the rugged reality of physical national control,